Continue on to
with dead people.
More dead people. Yes. March is March Dead Madness. We've got here March 17th. iZombie premieres on CW, and
another genre show.
Another genre show for CW. Another DC Comics based show for CW.
Though
with
very
the caveat,
different.
yeah, very different.
Very different than the comic from...
Yeah, well, a few things. First of all, it's based on a Vertigo comic, which is a DC imprint. It's not only is it not in continuity with Arrow and The Flash, but the comic book is its own.
It would be amazing
Wouldn't
if
it be
it
amazing
was.
if it was? I should say that I assume it's not. Then the season finale when
No,
Oliver
wait
shows
until
up.
Oliver shows
Yeah, and Barry.
Sexes her up.
Whoa, hey, you were just going right to a different place than I was. But yeah, the comic book is not part of the DC universe, even though it's DC puts it out. The TV show is its own thing too. But yeah, it's based on a DC comic, another genre show for CW, and it's the creator of Veronica Mars,
Yay!
Rob Thomas. Yeah,
Rob Thomas, who I love. And, I'm failing Rob Thomas right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man,
Looking
the second
for-
series.
Party Down?
Thank you.
No problem.
Party Down. Veronica Mars and then Party Down, which I really loved
love
that
Party
one
Down
as well.
too, yeah.
So we're both huge Veronica
Yeah,
Mars, unabashed Veronica Mars fans. Also enjoy Party Down. Love Rob Thomas.
Yeah.
This show, and if you like Veronica Mars, this is a good thing. I'm saying this is a good thing.
Yeah.
This show is exactly Veronica Mars if she was a zombie. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, it really is, and I will say for some, because I even at TCA, I think I had some discussions with people where for some people it bothered them, right?
Right.
Because for some people it was kind of like, oh, he's kind of returning to something he did before. To which I say, but he does it really well.
He does it really well. Okay, these are my arguments.
Yeah.
He does it. I will say that there's an aesthetic. Okay, so Veronica Mars did a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah.
In the first, especially in the first season when it was looking back at the murder, the big murder that.
And it was the most noir that first season.
Yeah, it was, and so it had this very particular aesthetic when it would flash back.
Yeah.
And iZombie has the same aesthetic when she's going into... Okay, so we should explain.
Yeah, we should probably explain what the show is and how it's similar to Veronica Mars, except to say that it's a show called iZombie.
We should explain.
Yes.
There's a young woman who is a doctor, and she's in a residency, I think.
I can't remember, but
in any event.
She's doing something. She's got a stethoscope.
She goes out one night, big mistake, zombie horde attack. She becomes a zombie, and then she goes to, I'm not spoiling anything, this happens in the first 2 minutes.
This is the setup.
She goes to work in a morgue so that she can eat brains, so that she can nourish herself with brains, which keeps her acting and looking sort of human.
Right.
Like she's not full, like if she was starving and didn't have any brains, she would.
Yeah, there's like levels of zombie. Like,
there's levels.
Yeah, in the show, you do become what we can think of as a full drooling, mindless zombie if you don't keep
brains.
feeding. Yeah.
But when you eat the brains, you get the memories of the person, and she also will adopt like some of their personality traits.
Yeah, which kind of like Chuck when he could like access things and abilities.
Until it's digested and she eats, I guess, kind of digested, and she eats, I don't know how that works, and then she eats new brain. So the idea is that when she gets their memories, that aesthetic is the same thing that to show that she's getting a memory.
Yeah.
That they used in Veronica Mars to show a flashback. So it looks very similar.
Right, and the main character in both shows is a young, feisty girl, really snarky, edgy, likable. There's a certain similar energy. Both shows have narration by that character.
And in both shows, there is detecting. So because she's getting these memories, a lot of times these people are victims of some crime.
Or were involved in some crime.
Exactly. So she uses the memories to solve crimes. Veronica Mars, obviously, her dad was a private detective, and she did a lot of private digging.
Yeah. And so it's got that engine that, there's an engine there to give her like a case of the week.
Right.
So all that being said, it is very similar. There is the trappings, and I talked to some people who were like, "Oh, he's kind of repeating himself," but I just don't think that voice is on TV right now.
It's not, and
so that's why I'm so happy to have it back. You know?
And the thing is, like, he loved that series.
Yes.
Kristen Bell did too.
There's a reason that movie exists, besides the fact that the fans support that that they'd care.
They love it so much.
Right.
And he loves it so much, and we love it so much. So to me, it's like, I guess he is kind of doing it without redoing it on television, which is fine. If you liked Veronica Mars, and zombies,
Mm-hmm.
you will like this. But even if you haven't seen Veronica Mars, then he's introducing this idea to
Right.
a whole new audience.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a huge hit, that
No,
show.
it's a cult show. So we should say we've seen the first 4, and I think can speak for you. You'll tell me if I'm wrong with it. We both really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think it's a very fun show, likable group of characters. Yes, it begins with a very heavy procedural element. There is a case of the week. But I talked to Rob Thomas. I'll pimp out my interview with Rob Thomas coming
Do
up,
it.
where he said that Pushing Daisies was an inspiration, which that makes sense, because Pushing Daisies, we all think of how creative and wonderful that show was. It also was a case of the week show
Yeah.
with a sort of macabre element to it. This is kind of doing that similar, while there is a back burner serialized element
There
that's
is.
going to start to take seed as it goes into the rest of the season.
There's a villain
Yeah.
who plays a role throughout.
Yeah, yeah. And that's going to start to rise up and cross paths.
Rise up.
Rise up. And so the first 4, I kind of burnt through them, and I was like, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is, I like having this voice again back on TV.
It's definitely a show I would look forward to watching every week. You
Yeah.
know, and I mean, that's the most, we watch so much television, so that actually is saying a lot, you
Yeah.
know, that like, I really would actively be like, what's the gang down at the morgue up to?
What's the gang in iZombie doing? Yeah. We say check out iZombie. And I do want to say also, get beyond the cynicism and the negativity about the title. It is a cutesy title, but guys, remember, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, and there's also, speaking of Buffy, there's a nice support cast around her that's very charming as well.
Very charming, yeah. I really, and you can even see in those first 4, and I've talked to a lot of the cast. I did a set visit how they kind of started to figure out more combinations and how a couple actors really play well off each other. I say give it a shot. And move beyond the title. It's a winky title, but there's plenty of shows that have goofy titles that you can enjoy.
You said Buffy.
I did say Buffy! Buffy Bell, yay. Thank you for remembering.